Hi. I just wanted to pop on and talk a little more today. Um, it is a very sunny day. It's not particularly warm, but the sun is nice. And I am in my greenhouse enjoying some of the warmth. Um, I wanted to talk about boundaries. Boundaries are something that we all need to have. And many of us struggle with boundaries. We struggle with saying no. We struggle with asking people for space because we oftentimes don't want to feel rude. And it seems selfish to put a boundary in place. But boundaries are necessary. Boundaries are a necessary part of life because without them, people can just walk all over you. And you don't want to be a doormat. Nobody wants to be a doormat. It doesn't feel good to be a doormat. I know because I've always been one. And I have recently stopped being a doormat. I don't do things that I don't want to do anymore. I no longer say yes to things that are stressful for me. And I no longer feel obligated to do things just because someone asked me to. And those people-pleasing qualities come from not having boundaries. And it's not that I wasn't taught boundaries. It was just that giving up my boundaries to make others feel comfortable was something that I learned to do very young. I never wanted anyone to be uncomfortable because I realized that I made people uncomfortable just by being there. And when you make people uncomfortable, you kind of push their buttons without even doing anything, just by your presence alone. And when you're a kid, it's hard to put boundaries in place because lots of adults don't listen to children. And when a child tells you no, or a child tells you they don't like something, or whatever it is, they're trying to put a boundary in place. And when adults ignore those boundaries, that's when you get people pleasers. Because in ignoring the boundaries, you're teaching them that their boundaries don't matter. And that even though they are expressing how they feel, it doesn't matter. If you keep tickling the child that's begging you to stop, they're going to learn that you don't respect their boundaries. And if their parent or their loved ones don't respect their boundaries, then they're going to assume that no one else will respect their boundaries either. And we have to respect kids' boundaries. We have to. Because when you're respecting them, you're telling them that they're a person and that they matter. And when you're not respecting them, you're teaching them that they don't. And that's the same for you as an adult. In your relationships, friends, family, whatever it might be, in your relationships, you have boundaries. You have different boundaries with different people. And they're there for a reason. Maybe you don't discuss certain topics with certain people because you know it bothers them. That's a boundary that they've put in place and that you're respecting. Maybe someone takes their shoes off when they enter your home. That's a boundary you've put in place. We set boundaries all the time. And as kids, many of us were unheard. And it became hard to set those boundaries. Because when you are unheard in what you want, that carries over into the rest of your life. You feel unheard in many aspects. And when your boundaries are violated, even simple ones, you feel less. You feel less important. You feel less like you belong. And you definitely feel less respected. And everyone wants to feel respected. Everyone wants to be respected. Even children. And we always say that you earn respect, but you don't. Respect is a given. You offer respect right out of the gate until someone loses your respect. Because if you go into every relationship expecting the worst or assuming the worst about people, you're never going to have a good relationship with anyone. And our relationships are important because they are our support system. We all have support systems, or at least I hope most of us have support systems. And if you don't, find someone who can be your support, because there's someone out there who will. Don't stop looking. But in having support, we can learn better boundaries through those people. Maybe your cousin speaks up for you. And by doing that, you learned that it was okay to speak up. And it was okay to have the boundary you set. And that is how someone can support you in setting boundaries. And not only boundaries for others, but boundaries for ourselves. If you know something is bad for you, if it puts you in a bad emotional state, veer away from it. You're in control. You're driving your own bus. And I've struggled to set boundaries. I've always been that people pleaser. I've always said yes to almost everything because I don't want to hurt people's feelings, or I don't want them to think that I can't do something, or just many reasons. But I've learned as I've grown that being a people pleaser is impossible. You cannot please everyone. You can't. No matter how hard you try, there will always be someone who is unhappy with you or the things you have done. And we can't look for validation in others. We can look for support, but we cannot look for validation in others. Because that validation has to come from yourself. You validate yourself by staying true to your boundaries. You prove your worth. You prove that you're worthy of respect by holding your boundaries. Maybe make a list of things that you tolerate and things that you don't. And then go through and see how many of the things you don't tolerate that you often find yourself doing. And then ask yourself why. Why are you doing things that you do not tolerate? Or why are you being a part of things that you do not tolerate? And once you can answer that question, you'll realize that usually you're doing it for others, not yourself. And we can't live for others. We have to live for ourselves. We can live with others. We can support others. But we cannot live for other people. You can only exist for yourself. And in existing for yourself, you need to respect you. If you know that something is not comfortable for you, why would you step into it? Just to please someone else? Why do they matter so much? And if they matter that much, shouldn't they love you enough to respect that you don't want part in it, or that it's not comfortable for you? Don't assume that people will be upset with you for not doing something, because they have understanding too, and they can likely understand why something is not for you. And if not, that's their problem, not yours. And if they have a problem with you setting a boundary, that tells you what kind of person they are, a user. If you set a boundary and someone is pissed, it's because they're using you. And we all get used from time to time. It happens. But when you notice you're being used, put those boundaries in place. Because as soon as you do, you will weed out the people who do not truly matter. You will weed out the users. And people can be abusers in that way too. They can abuse you by knowing that you are a people pleaser and preying on that. I've experienced this in my own life. People getting me to do things that I wouldn't normally do or wouldn't do, my conscience tells me not to do, just because I wanted to fit in. And when you want to fit in, you will do anything to fit in. When you have been made to feel so different from everyone that you don't belong, you will do anything to belong. And that is where people start using you. They start realizing they can get you to do things, or they can get things from you, or you offer some kind of emotional support that they can't find otherwise. But do they give it back? Because if they're not giving back, they're just using and abusing you. If they're not giving back what they're asking of you, they are not really your friend. They do not truly love you. Because love should be unconditional. And I shouldn't have to earn your love by doing things for you or fulfilling something for you. You should just love me because I'm me. None of us deserve to be used. None of us deserve to be abused. But it happens in life. It's part of life. And what you do with those moments, what you learn from them, is what determines how you grow. Because you can grow from being a people pleaser. Slowly, over time, you'll realize that the people pleaser in you is sad. And it's tired. And it doesn't want to please people anymore. And sometimes you'll even find that it doesn't want to please you. Because it's so tired of being used that it doesn't want to do anything. And you have to learn and start from the bottom and start climbing up. And then you find those boundaries. You find the boundaries that you put into place that stop people from using you. No, I will not do this for you. No, I cannot come to that event. No, I cannot hold this obligation. And that's it. Just say no. It's hard because the people pleaser in you fears the rejection. If I don't do this for them, will they reject me? And that is something you have to face. And it's something you should face. Because if someone's going to reject you, they don't deserve a part in your life just because you wouldn't do something for them. They don't. And if they're not offering anything to your life other than hassle of having to do things for them, what good is the friendship or the relationship? What good is it? It's one-sided. We end those kinds of relationships because they're not valuable. They don't add anything to your life, and they take away from you. And they deteriorate yourself, your being. They make you feel less. And you're not less. You're not less than anyone. You are an equal. We are all equals. We are all just humans having an experience. And no one is better than anyone else. No one deserves to have more than anyone else. We're all here doing the same thing. And you can't walk around pleasing everyone except yourself. Because you'll find that you hit a dead end. And at the end of the day, after you've helped everyone in the world, you find yourself alone. Because those people you helped didn't care to help you. They only cared about themselves. And we don't want selfish people in our lives. Because yes, it's okay to be selfish in a sense. Selfish in the sense that you set boundaries and you take care of yourself. But not selfish in the sense that you feel entitled to someone. Entitled to what someone can offer you. Because you're not entitled to it. You're not entitled to anything. Not even life. Every day that you wake up is a gift. And every day that you wake up is a new chance to set your own boundaries. And you don't want to wake up every day dreading the fact that you're going to spend the day pleasing everyone and wearing a mask to pretend you're someone who you're not. What's the point? Why would you even want to live that way? I don't. And I stopped living that way. Because I realized people aren't worth my time for the most part. Generally, the people that I pass on a daily basis, that pass through my life, are not holding importance in my life. And if they're not holding importance in my life, they don't deserve my time. Because your time is valuable. And it's yours. Spend it doing what you want to do, not what others are telling you to do. What is it that you want to do? Do you even know? I didn't. I knew I had to stop pleasing everyone and stop trying to be perfect. But I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So I started doing this. I started talking and just getting things out there and listening to my own advice and hoping that someone else can benefit. And it's funny when you look back, you can see exactly how you became a people pleaser. You can see the moments in your life that guided you towards being afraid of rejection. And I know in my life, it was a lot in part due to extended family. Not fitting into my own family made me feel extra outcasted. Because if I was outcasted by my family, why would I be accepted by my peers? So before I even went to school, I became a people pleaser. Because I always wanted to make sure that I was on the good side of everyone I met. Because I didn't like what happened when I saw the unkind side of people. I didn't like how it felt. And I didn't want to cause that feeling for anyone else either. So I tamped down my needs and I supported others. And I did get used a lot. I got stomped on, feet wiped on me, just like a doormat. But that's not where I want to live. And that's not where anyone wants to live. Because where we want to live is in a state where we can please ourselves. And then if we have extra to give, we can give to others. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. And if you're not filling your own cup, you can't pour anything into any others. You will be burnt out and exhausted because you have nothing to give. And you keep on giving and giving and giving until the well runs dry. And then instead of telling everyone the water's dried up, you grab a shovel and you dig deeper and you dig deeper and you dig deeper until you find more water. Only when you find the water, you don't drink it You don't quench your thirst after all that digging. You just heave it up over the top of the well for others, while you sit there dehydrating and working and working. Do you see? Because the others, the people that are at the top, waiting for the water, they don't care that you're working hard. Did they offer you a drink? Did any of them offer to come down and help you dig? Nope. That's the life of a people pleaser. And it is beyond exhausting. Beyond exhausting. Because when you can hardly get out of bed in the morning, barely convince yourself to get dressed, hardly get out the door because you don't want to, and then you put on that smile and you start pleasing everyone else. And at the end of the day, when you get home and you return to yourself, you're more tired and you have nothing to show for what you've done all day, because everyone took everything from you and nobody gave it back. Look for the people who give back. Look for the people who see your kindness and don't use it, but take it graciously. Because there's a difference between people who use you and people who appreciate the things that you have done. Even if I can't give something back, I can show that I'm thankful. I can tell you that I appreciate you. I can show you I appreciate you by maybe the next time I see you, I offer you a hug, because I remember what you did for me. Those are the kind of people you look for. Not the people who just say, hey, do this for me, do that for me. Oh, you didn't do it good enough. Because that's what they do. Users will always tell you that it's not enough. And people pleasing can linger even after you've healed. I still find my people pleasing habits when I get dressed for the day, because instead of worrying about what's comfortable for me and what I like, I worry about how everyone else is going to view me. So I am trying to please everyone else by putting clothes on my body. It hardly makes sense. But those are the weird little things that stick. Especially when you're always trying to please everyone. And like I said before, it's not possible. There is always going to be a fault in the things that you do and say. Someone can find a fault. Always. Because they're looking for it. I've talked about this before. If you're looking for negativity, that's what you find. And people who don't look for the positive who don't see the good in what you've done. What worth are they to you? Do they really affect your life? Are they helping you? Are they supporting you? Sorry, there's a bee in here. Just buzzing by the door. I don't know. Set boundaries so that others know where you stand. Because until you tell people what you will and won't do, they will try to get everything they can out of you. That's just how people are. They search for gain. And a lot of people will find gain any way they can, whether it hurts you or not. So don't be a people pleaser and start setting boundaries for yourself. And you will find that things run a lot smoother. Thanks for listening.